right, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived here at the Devils Bowl in Mesquite, Texas. And this is a sad weekend for this racetrack because it's the final two shows in its existence as this property was sold and it's now no longer going to be a dirt track in the future. So with that, our goal as the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series going into this Friday and Saturday is to send this place off in style and finish its place in the history books. Now looking at it, it's a pretty good sized track. And one unique feature, and I don't think my camera will do it justice, but in person it is so visible. So the backstretch here, it's actually higher than the front straightaway. As you come through 3 and 4, you almost start going downhill. Well, you do. Then you go into 1 and 2. And then off of 2 down the backstretch, you're back uphill. Now I have no idea if it's true, but supposedly they did that way back in the day so you could still see the backstretch from the front stretch grandstands past everyone that was in the infield. I don't think I've seen another place that was as drastic as here, but anyway, we're gonna be getting the low E insulation Shark Racing number 1T on track here at Devils Bowl. Great to be in the state of Texas. This place is beautiful. It's really, really warm, 80 degrees, and we're looking forward to 2 solid nights of racing. My goal, just want to work on our consistency, you know, hot lap well and qualify good to start farther up front and keep that track position throughout the night. Realistically, that's the name of the game. The rest of the racing and the results all take care of themselves if you start closer to the front. Anyway, this is really special to be a part of this weekend, and I'm pumped to be here, see Devils Bowl for my first time in what will be its last laps of competition ever. So qualifying is complete here at Devils Bowl, 31 cars, and we timed in the front half of the field, so that's progress compared to how some of our qualifying runs have been lately. You know, unloaded with good speed, was 6th in hot laps, and the racetrack really started out super greasy, and every lap, every car's been on track. We're really just working it in. For us, I think we're extremely close with our balance, which, you know, is a huge confidence booster for me. After running 1 lap around the place, I felt comfortable. We talked about maybe we could have had a different gear in for qualifying to dial in a little bit, and then as the track's working in more, I don't know if I was in a little bit of grease where I ran in 3 and 4, but I just kind of felt like I was hanging through the center of the corner, and if I could have had a little more grip and just been, I mean, that much straighter, we're talking. 410 racing is a game of just that much, and that's kind of where I felt like I lost time. Now, with that being said, both corners are extremely different here, so us being a little bit on the loose side helps us down in 1 and 2 where it's such a tight turn. 3 and 4, you know, going downhill into that corner, it almost feels like you can drive it in as hard as you want. It's gonna stick. Where 1 and 2, it's a little bit different. So now going into a heat race, we're gonna be starting 4th, 2nd row outside. We're gonna be transferring the top 6. Really got to get a good start here. If we get advanced in position, every spot we go forward is gonna help us for tonight's main event. But happy with the 1T. We're in a good spot. We just got to keep working on the little things to improve and get closer to the front.
Green flag in the air to start the second heat race. James McFadden jumps to the lead as they roll out of turn 4. Carson Macedo in second as they exit the second turn and make their way down the back straightaway. Tanner Holmes in third, Blake Hahn running 4th. Lap number 1 about to go in the books. It is led by James McFadden. Matt Covington holding on to the 6th and final transfer position. Casey Kane on the outside looking in, running 7th now, trying to track down that number 95. Green flag, then white flag, then checkered for our second heat race. Back under power, great restart for James McFadden, pulls away from Carson Macedo. Matt Covington looking low in 1 and 2, coming after the 18 of Giovanni Selzy. Right behind Covington, it's the number 9 of Casey Kane. White flag waving. Kane now down low in 3 and 4, trying to take the final transfer spot away from Covington. Can't get the job done there. They race into 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway for the final time. A James McFadden feature winner here in April. Heat race winner tonight. Carson Macedo second. Tanner Holmes third. Blake Hahn fourth. In fifth, Giovanni Selzy, and Matt Covington comes home sixth.
Coming off the corner, I feel like I can feel the left rear, it's like standing up, like growing, and then it's like hard to turn down the straightaway a little bit. You know what I mean? Like right off the corner, like I'm tight kind of coming off. But right before that, when I'm in the loose stuff, you know, I could use a little bit, I could be stuck a little bit more. And I think that stuff would even help me in 3 and 4, but 3 and 4, I'm probably a little free too. I just didn't want to move my wing a whole lot because being behind those guys. So 4th to 3rd there in that heat race, got a really good start there early on. Luckily, I think starting on the outside was better. McFadden won the heat from 2nd, and the inside row kind of just had to be in the grease there. Off of 4 is probably where there's the most grease still on the racetrack, and you really spin your tires going on the front stretch. So obviously when you're trying to start the race from, you know, a very, very slow pace, you just can't take off. You spin the tires, and I was able to shoot around the outside and get right there behind Macedo. Felt like that heat race was a little sloppy behind the wheel for me. It's easy, you know, you have the calmness of qualifying, if you would call it calm, and you almost can relax in there, and then once you get around other cars, I need to keep working on, you know, keeping that calmness and being able just to still run my race. Overall, I think our car has a good balance. We're really close. 1 and 2 is just, I feel like where I'm losing some time. It's starting to get a little slick on exit, and that throws a curveball into it. It's easy to get in okay, but then you spin your tires, you get free out of nowhere, and then you almost go, like I would be loose sometimes, and then getting down the backstretch, I'd almost be tight, and it'd want to drive me almost off the racetrack. So the surface is weird, still fast, difficult to pass. Hopefully with a couple more laps though, it will widen out, and just glad that we have a good start. Even though we did not make the dash running in the top 2 there, we should roll off from 8th in this feature, so right there in the top 10, and you know, definitely in a spot where we can work closer to the front. Well, this place is packed with fans. We're all kind of banding together to give this place the best finale weekend it possibly could have. Here's a look at 1 and 2, the corner that I've been talking about throughout the video. The bottom could actually still be worked in a little bit more. I don't think a single car's been this low on the track, and then majority of us have been running middle to high. That one slick spot I'm talking about is right here, and honestly, from the looks of it, maybe because the support divisions, but it's not that slick. You know, it's just enough to kind of spin the tires a little bit more, and I think it's just the hardest part of the racetrack when they worked it earlier. Everywhere else is a little bit softer. This corner though is definitely the trickier of the two, just with the layout, with the backstretch being higher than the front straightaway. Another driver described it to me really well. If you miss your mark, or you get too high, or you almost drive in too far, you kind of like crab walk past your mark as you go through the corner. What that means is you're almost drifting away from the line you need to be in, and it's not difficult to do. Now I really wish it would start to slicken off a little bit. I think it's going to be difficult to pass throughout the same main event, just depending on what happens here with some of these lower mains and the other classes running, but still a really, really fast surface, and hopefully it just continues to get worked in so we can have a good 25 lap A. I'll be right there. Well, a top 10 tonight with the Outlaws. Started 8th, finished 8th. Not, you know, not just over the moon about our result, but I felt like for the racetrack conditions and where things were at, it wasn't like guys were charging way forward. And there was a couple guys that showed their nose to us too, that once I got rolling, I was able to hold back. I think, I mean, probably at best there, you know, 5th, 6th, 7th were probably about as far as maybe I was gonna get, just because, like I said, difficult to pass, racetrack's really fast. It was all about those first go, and I had an okay start, you know, felt solid, but ultimately I kind of tried to run the top for a little bit and just wasn't great up there. And once I moved down and got my rhythm on that side of the racetrack, I was pretty good. And then there at the end, I was kind of getting a little closer to 7th. But as I mentioned, even though the racetrack got slick in spots, still really fast. And I don't want to use the word narrow because it was wide, but it races that way. You know, it's not like you just have all these opportunities to go forward or go backwards. If you kind of just do your job, you hold your lane, you go. So started 8th, finished 8th, cars in one piece. Solid night for our team, and you know, we got a good balance going into tomorrow, and I definitely feel really good at Devils Bowl here for the lack of laps I have. Well, here's a look at the racing surface from this evening. The best way I could describe today's show is just a very average night on the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series Tour. Now, don't get me wrong, you never want to be average, but out here, when it's so easy to get high and get low, you'll take a solid top 10 where, you know, we qualified okay, we did our job in the heat race, and we ran 25 laps. Now, they weren't the perfect 25 laps, but it was a decent race. Did what we had to do. I think we can make a couple improvements with our car. I could make some improvements behind the wheel, and we just continued to work together to get closer to the top. I think tonight really showed that when we unload close, everything, like I said, is working together. We can obviously be right there with all the best teams on the tour, and that's exciting. And you know, Devils Bowl is a place that you have to do everything right because you got to be up front and you got to have track position. So glad that we had a solid run, and we will be back tomorrow to turn the final page in this track's history. You can definitely feel everything in the air this weekend, and I'm just happy and honored to be a part of it, and really just wanting to run even better tomorrow than we did today. Big thank you to Shark Racing, Bobby Allen, Smith Titanium, DMI, Lowy Insulation, Mark Pell, and Pell's Tire Service. And then we also had the Boss on board, their company here in the Dallas area, and they also have a couple locations in Texas. So super thankful for their support, but I got great partners behind me. I got great people behind me in Shark Racing. These guys work so hard on our best nights and our lowest nights. And as a driver and a rookie out here, it's really special to have that because it helps keep me going, and you know, only makes us better in the long run and stronger and tougher together. That's gonna do it though for today's video. Thank you guys so much for riding along with me for this journey. It's also very special to me that I get to share this with you, and I look forward to many more moments in the future as we continue to try to get closer to the top. All right, Devils Bowl, see you tomorrow. Deuces.